So, I want to quickly talk about a few things today with mass transit. In this video, we're going to talk about the water main break that really didn't affect service at 74th Avenue and Roosevelt Avenue in Jackson Heights today. And we're also going to talk about the Long Island Railroad with miscommunication because Matt Camper has done a terrific job exposing the MTA today on how poorly they miscommunicate with their customers on their Twitter handle. And the first topic, of course, we're going to talk about is my apology regarding giving wrong information for the MTA service on Martin Luther King Day, which is this Monday, January 15th. And a quick mention today that President Donald Trump officially declared now that January 15th is the official date for Dr. Martin Luther King. Quickly want to bring that up today, but yes, that was news, but to quickly not go off topic, we're just going to talk about the schedule. That on the problem that I have, first of all, is that today is January 12th, and this is what I'm very annoyed with on the MTA's website, that it says Monday, January 18th. And this is stupid because my mother's birthday, believe it or not, is January 19th. And this Monday's date and the exact date of birth for Dr. Martin Luther King was on January 15th. So that's one mess up the MTA needs to look at if they have to re-edit anything, because I don't want anybody getting confused that January 18th is on Thursday. Alright? So this Monday's date is January 18th. So I'll read it very correctly. On Monday, January 15th, New York City Subway will operate on a regular weekday schedule. Express subway service to and from Manhattan and Queens will not be impacted. So the E and the F will be running regularly. The Staten Island Railroad will operate on a regular weekday schedule. I don't call it Staten Island Railroad. I call it the Staten Island Railroad. It's just a force of habit. I call it the Staten Island Railroad. New York City buses will operate on a reduced weekday schedule on Monday, January 15th, with minor timing changes, except for Staten Island. Limited stop routes, the S81, S84, S86, S90, S91, S92, S94, S96, and S98 will not operate those routes this Monday, January 15th in Staten Island. However, local service on those routes in Staten Island will operate. Limited stop routes S89 and S93 will operate on weekday schedules with minor timing changes. And of course, all Staten Island bound, Brooklyn bound, and Queens bound X Express routes will operate on weekday schedules with minor timing. I don't have any word on Interborough Express buses. I mean, I understand they have X on them, but I wouldn't be too worried if you were taking the Bronx or Queens buses that go between Queens and Manhattan. That shouldn't be a problem. As far as Staten Island is concerned, I think what this is trying to make out is that they will operate on normal weekday service this Monday, January 15th, so no need to worry about that. But I'm just going to quickly highlight the limited stop routes in Staten Island that will be running local. Here it is again. This is your last chance to take a look at it. So if you need to have a mental note in Staten Island, you'll know far in advance, but just keep that in mind. I will not be taking mass transit on Monday. I have the day off, so I'm just gonna stay at home and just do what I have to do and figure out from there. But talk about Long Island Railroad later on, because we had A few minor problems today with the subways here in Queens, so we're going to quickly read up on that. Zoom in here. Okay. So first up, I just saw my lights flicker. That was creepy. First up, we have no M train service between Myrtle Wyckoff Avenue and Middle Village because of signal problems. Alright, so if you're trying to get M train service in Middle Village, don't expect it right now because we're not going to be back for a while, it looks like. We'll double check it again, but normally I would get a notification that tells me that they update this Twitter feed. No word on that yet. There's no W train service today. Well, at the moment, not today, but there is no W train service between Ditmars and Whitehall Street in Astoria because of falling debris at 59th Street. So if you're expecting to take the W right now in Astoria, that's not looking good. Then the E had problems because of a sick passenger at World Trade Center. And the 7's always the curse line. They need to figure out what is going on with the 7, because I will also talk about the 7 later on because it was impacted in Jackson Heights earlier today. 7 trains were running with delays in both directions because of signal problems at Metz Willets Point. That's the station that's right near Main Street, Flushing. So if you were expecting to catch the Express 7 train, not looking good right now. That's all I'm going to say. Then we had problems with the B, D, N, Q, R, and W trains. At the Cab Avenue, there was mechanical problems. So that wasn't good. That was not good at all. When the B and the D have problems, you know it affects train traffic in Manhattan, that's for sure. Alright, so this is very odd. Oh, okay. I read this earlier when I was researching today. I heard about this earlier that southbound trains on the C and E were having problems because there were issues earlier. I'm not going to get into... I did see a tweet earlier, but that was odd. The C was actually running express today on 8th Avenue. Go figure that one out. Okay, so this was the FDNY activity at 74th and Broadway. If I said Avenue earlier, I apologize. I meant to say 74th Street. Alright, so here is the story with the water main leak. There was a water main leak at the it really didn't impact the E, F, M, and R, but I know it definitely impacted the 7. So here's what happened. There was a water main leak, and excuse my phone, I'm sorry. There was a water main leak at 74th Street, Roosevelt Avenue. Businesses were affected. Basements were flooded. They had to turn off water in some of the buildings around the area, but it affected 7 trains because the 7 train apparently was leaking water on the top bridge on Roosevelt Avenue. 34th Street bound 7 trains were running express from Metz Willets Point to Queensboro Plaza because of this. So no local stops were being made in Woodside, and no other local stops were being made, especially around Sunnyside and Long Island City. So if you were wondering, well, why couldn't I get off in Sunnyside on Queens Boulevard? Well, this was your answer. They had to do it for everyone's safety. And it's about safety first. And if you can't have that elevated 7 train going along Roosevelt with that type of water main leak, well, that's what happened. And more problems with the 7. Signal problems at 111th Corona Street. 111th Street in Corona. I almost said Corona Street. There's no Corona Street. Southbound F trains and Broadway Junction M trains were running with delays because of signal problems at 14th Street, 6th Avenue. And that's pretty much the subways that I can give today. We're not really going to get into that. One more tweet. Oh, here's something interesting. Jamaica Center bound J and Broadway Junction bound M trains ran with delays because of problems at Marcy Avenue and Lormier Street. So you think the J train was perfect? Well, it's not. That's for sure. All right. So now we're going to go to the Long Island Railroad. There were added trains. There are going to be added trains for the Long Island Railroad, and the fancy preppy Babylon riders are going to get more trains while the main line of Ronkonkoma gets screwed again. So basically, this Monday, January 15th, not the 18th, 15th, the MTA really needs to fix this. I just want to quickly mention that the MTA will be providing off-peak fares, all right? So, here's the example. If you are trying to get to Penn into Jamaica, as an example, you're in zone 3. So, $7.50 train ticket prices will apply all day. So a round trip should be about 15, $7.50, yeah, that's 15. So if you want to pay for a round trip ticket between to and from Penn and Jamaica, off-peak fares will apply. So just remember to buy your ticket before you board the train. That's just one example I can give right now. So here's the problem with the stupid Babylon branch. Look how many westbound trains are getting added. Oh. Oy. There will be a holiday schedule. But then look how many eastbound trains are making stops in Jamaica. I mean, that would be good for me because I could normally get a seat in the Babylon branch, but apparently everybody else is screwed on Ronkonkoma. Because take a look at this. Well, at least Port Washington's getting on extra trains in the afternoon. But here's Ronkonkoma. This is my problem. There's 5 extra westbound trains for Ronkonkoma. But then, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Babylon's getting 7 trains. And Ronkonkoma's only getting 5. How is this acceptable? How? And then, look how stupid this is for eastbound. Eastbound's getting 5 extra trains on the Babylon branch. And then, on the Ronkonkoma line, they're getting 2 extra trains. How is this acceptable? How? Why is Patrick Nowakowski giving more people trains on the Babylon branch compared to how many trains are being added on the main Ronkonkoma line? And then the Twitter feed of the Long Island Railroad, very, very bad miscommunication. And we're not going to do New Jersey Transit today because I've just had enough with with the subways acting up like this today and the Long Island Railroad. Because keeping in mind, this is a Queens channel, and of course, my main priority is Long Island Railroad and New York City subways. So let's go back a couple hours. Let's see, I don't think that's where it started with the lies and manipulation with the railroad today. I'm just going to double check it, everyone. Now, you know me. This is what I like to do. I love to double check my information. Okay, so the main problem today happened on earlier this morning. Earlier this afternoon. I can't really give an accurate time, but I'll read this tweet. And it said, service is temporarily suspended in both directions between Penn and Jamaica, as well as between Penn and Woodside on the Port Washington branch due to an Amtrak signal problem. So first of all, Amtrak lied to us. Amtrak lied to us. They said that this work that they're doing to repair the tunnel wasn't going to impact service. Well, here's the first proof today. And this didn't happen in the summer of hell last year. Why is it happening now? Oh boy. And then Matt Camper told me earlier that the Twitter feed was lying, and somebody else reported at Penn Station that Long Island Railroad tickets were not being cross-honored for the E-Express subway train, which was very, very unacceptable. They should have let people take the E train to Jamaica and then catch their trains in Jamaica to go wherever they needed to be. So I felt that everybody on the E should have been accommodated for this. And thankfully, Atlantic Terminal was off the hook. I don't know how Atlantic Terminal got off the hook today. Let's see what else really irritated me about the railroad. Yep. Well, they should have tweeted it earlier, because nobody tweeted it earlier. And then what happened was, I saw earlier from Matt Camper's Periscope that apparently somebody got their backpack stuck on the main, I'm going to call it the main Babylon branch, because now it's the main line. No one cares about Ronkonkoma anymore. The 334 train from Penn due into Watua at 4:27 operated 20 minutes late due to police activity at Baldwin. And what happened was apparently a passenger didn't realize his backpack was stuck in between the doorway, and that's why it happened. Okay. And then this was the last tweet from the railroad. 6:05 train from Penn due into Watua at 6:51 is canceled due to an equipment problem. All right, so this is the MTA's Twitter feed. But today we're also going to take a look at Matt Camper's Twitter feed and see what else he had to complain about, because he has been the voice of reason lately, next to Pine Power, when he does these extensive updates. And I highly suggest you follow him, because he is... I can't check his Twitter feed. This is what happens when you Google it, just as an example. We're going to close all these tabs out, so that way the CPU can get its job done. We can focus only on the Matt Camper Twitter feed. There we go. Now it is loading. And here we go. So, this is what Matt Camper tweeted earlier today. So remember how we just read that tweet earlier from the railroad regarding the canceled Wattswa train? Well, this is what Matt Camper tweeted. And I'll put it up on the screen right now. Equipment problems isn't the truth. They need to say it's due to equipment storage. Stop saying the wrong info. So he's been the truth today. He has been the truth. Let's see what else he had to put his word on. Yeah, so here was the tweet that came from at RedCat52. The 344 Long Island Railroad to Babylon has been sitting in Baldwin on the main Babylon branch. Remember, I call it the main line now because that's what Patrick Nowakowski wants him to call it now, because they think they may have hit some guy's backpack with the door. Ugh. And then Governor-elect Phil Murphy's supposed to ride the New Jersey Transit train tomorrow, which I don't know what that's going to do. The governor-elect should be riding the trains during rush hour and seeing how bad Chris Christie has put them in under rush hour. And then more signal problems with the New Jersey Transit. You know, when I figured since Matt Camper put it up here, I might as well. And that's his Periscope from earlier. That's pretty much it from the Matt Camper feed, but he's been on it today. He really, really has been on it. And I'm hoping Pine Power will do another update, but if he's not, that's alright. But I'm also hoping he will do a weather update like I did, so we can get the word out about this dangerous cold weather coming in this weekend. But I'm hoping it's going to be quiet for the railroad the next couple days. The weekend is here. I don't know about next week because, again, we have the 1 to 3 inches forecasted for Tuesday. So we'll see what happens on the weather, because I'll do an update on that. So yeah, that's my transit video for today. Thank you all for watching, everyone.